Hello and welcome back to Typical City. The signing of İlkay Gündoğan has taken Manchester City fans' levels of excitement up a notch. Very understandable, but we can't get cocky because we may have won the Community Shield, we may have gone to Stamford Bridge and convincingly beat Chelsea, but the thing is, we be facing them tractor boys, you know, the Ipswich family. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Your sister is your mother, your uncle is your brother, you all fuck one another, the Ipswich family, do-do-do-do. Welcome back to the Premier League, Ipswich. It's been 22 years since we've seen Ipswich in the Premier League, in the big time, and it was, fair play to them, back-to-back promotions. One of 5 teams to have ever achieved back-to-back promotions from League One to the Championship and then straight into the Premier League as you do. The other 4 teams, Norwich, Southampton, Watford, Manchester City. Don't forget that. I was there and it makes me feel so proud to be where we are now as the treble winners, celebrating a player like İlkay Gündoğan coming back to the club, the captain that lifted that treble trophies for us. I mean, it's an amazing time, but being where Ipswich once were 2 seasons ago, they may point the finger and go, oh, you've all that money and stuff, but there were so many City fans that will be watching this, me being one of them as well. Well, I'm not watching it, I'm recording it, aren't I? But you know what I mean. That we're there. We were there, man. And it makes that journey so much sweeter to be where we are. But fair play to Ipswich to be back in the big time. It's going to be interesting to see if they can compete. They couldn't have got a harder start, in fairness to them. The Premier League absolutely did them dirty with a Liverpool fixture and a Manchester City fixture to welcome them back to the big time. But City are looking for records again. 44 games unbeaten at the Etihad. So those are some numbers that Ipswich fans will not be welcoming. 10 consecutive games, though, Manchester City. This is a Premier League record, by the way. 10 consecutive games have now been won by 2 or more goals by Manchester City. A Premier League record. It's never been done. That obviously stretches back into last season. What an achievement. Another record. The list continues to grow for Manchester City. But like I said, we can't get arrogant. We can't get cocky. We can certainly be confident. We can certainly believe in our ability because we have all the evidence of past history of Manchester City's successes to fall back on to understand what we're capable of now. And we a lot of rival fans mistaking it for arrogance, and I mean, I think they would be fairly confident going into a season with the history, certainly the recent history of Manchester City in the past decade of just domination. 4 years in a row, and we're going for 5 Premier League titles in a row. 4's never been done. We're going for 5, mate. Realistically, very possible. It's very much swung towards Manchester City's favour as far as I'm concerned with the signing of İlkay Gündoğan as well. So it's a very, very exciting time to be a Manchester City fan. But facing a newly promoted side is never easy. Back in 2021, I remember we faced Leeds, who'd just come up. They had that aura about them, Leeds, that they felt like they belonged there. They didn't. They got relegated pretty shortly after that. But still, back in 2021, we faced Leeds, newly promoted side, and we lost. That was 1 out of the last 18 times that we faced newly promoted sides. And the other 17 times that we faced newly promoted sides, we won all of them. So again, numbers that Ipswich fans will not be very welcoming to, so I'm looking forward to the game. It's the first ever game Ipswich have ever played at the Etihad. First time ever coming to the wonderful, wonderful stadium of the Etihad Stadium. The last time we faced them was back at Main Road, and I was there. I remember. But what a game this promises to be. I feel like City should comfortably win this. Let's talk about the team news, the potential. Oh, well, definitely missing is Rodri. Oscar Bob, of course, he is definitely out for Manchester City. There is a potential start for Gündoğan. I don't think he'll start. I think it would be amazing if he did, but I don't think he'll start. I feel like he'll come on with a 15, maybe 20-minute cameo towards the end of the game to welcome him back to the Etihad. The cheer. I mean, he's going to be announced before the game, I imagine. He's going to walk onto the pitch probably and give everyone a healthy wave. But that's probably going to be followed by him going back onto the bench, then maybe coming on during the second half, hopefully we're 2 or 3-0 up by that time. Savinho is another one who is reportedly okay, but Pep used the words, he isn't completely top. So that suggests to me that he probably isn't going to start, but he's pretty much okay to be on the bench. I don't think he'll start because of that little suggestion there from Pep Guardiola, a little clue. As for Ipswich, George Hurst, Nathan Broadhead, Harry Clark are all out. Wes Burns suffered a hamstring injury in the second half against Liverpool, which is a big blow for them. But that could see Ben Johnson, newly signed from West Ham, coming back into the fold. For them, a very versatile player, can play fullback, can play central, can play wing as well. I imagine he'll probably play on the wing, on the right side for Ipswich, which is still, Wes Burns is a dangerous crosser of the ball. I think that's going to be a big blow for Ipswich. Calvin Phillips, of course, is ineligible. I love that word, ineligible. Kieran McKenna is a former rag as well, a former assistant to Manchester United, and was rumoured to be linked with Manchester United, so he's a good manager, is Kieran McKenna, and he's obviously done wonderful things getting them back-to-back promotions like I've already mentioned. But expect to see the double pivot like they always do. They've rotated from 3 in the back in League One, then they got promoted into the Championship and went to a back 4. Either way, they had 2 double pivots with Morsi and Luongo lately playing in defensive midfield for them, so expect to see something similar again. A very tight ship, but high pressing, so I'm excited to see if they actually have the balls to come to the Etihad and press us with the ball. I mean, good luck with it. Good luck with that, mate. Good luck. But it'll be exciting to see. Let's have a look at what my predictions are for Manchester City, at least. I'm going to go with Ederson in goal. Ruben Diaz, bang in the middle of that back 3. Pretty similar to what we saw against Chelsea. Gvardiol on the right, on the left, Akanji on the right. Rico Lewis, I imagine, will be tucking inside. This is on paper again, so Rico's got a very strange, versatile position, which I showed you in my tactical analysis after the Chelsea game, so go and check that out if you haven't already. Alongside Kovacic, I can't see, with Rodri definitely being out, Gündoğan only just coming back to the fold, and Kovacic playing as well as he did in the Community Shield and against Chelsea. He ran the show against Chelsea. So, I mean, Kovacic it must be a little bit like Gündoğan's back. I feel a bit sorry for Kovacic, to be honest, because I feel like all the hype's now about Gündoğan, but Kovacic has been brilliant in the last 2 games. He could well find himself back on the bench if Gündoğan does the right things in training, and we know what we get from Gündoğan. He could end up playing a lot more than Kovacic, which is a real shame. Together, potentially, possibly, but you could have a flat back 3 against Ipswich, but I don't think Pep will be that. You know, I mean, how much of the ball are Ipswich actually going to have? The reason why Rico's there is because of his versatility to drop into right back. That's the reason why he's going to start for me, as well as rewarding him for that Chelsea performance. So I'm going to put Kovacic alongside him. Ahead of them, I think we're going to see KDB and Bernardo Silva. And with Savinho being reportedly out, I would like to see Jeremy Doku on the right and Phil Foden on the left. I know ideally you'd like to see Phil Foden in the middle, but with this system, Bernardo Silva very much drops deep. And the system that I showed you in the tactical analysis, which I'll complete the starting 11. Let's get the obvious player out of the way first of all, Haaland up top. But what we saw against Chelsea was a lot of this. We saw a system similar to this, more than anything, where Kevin De Bruyne often drifted out wide, Rico Lewis often drifted out wide, but that was the right side of the diamond was pushing in and out like that. Same for Kevin De Bruyne on the other side, pushing onto that left side and into the middle as well. So I think that's the system you'll see, and that's why Phil Foden probably won't play in the middle, because Bernardo Silva was often asked to drop to collect the ball off the back line in systems like this when we're playing out from the back. Now, Phil Foden can do that. I just feel Bernardo Silva is better at it, at dropping into defensive midfield to collect that ball and then pushing back up, which is why I think Bernardo Silva will still play in the middle and Phil Foden on the sides. Now, Foden, for me, you know, we're talking about, well, congratulations, first of all, Player of the Year, fully deserved. What a sensational talent he is. Savinho's obviously that phrase from Pep, he isn't completely top, suggested that Savinho isn't going to play to me. Now it's just a case of, okay, well, Phil Foden probably will then, but where? He could play on the right instead of Doku and Doku on the left. But I really want to see a left footer on the left side and a right footer on the right side. That's what I'm really excited to see. But I think that team should quite comfortably beat this Ipswich side. So let's put the Ipswich side on the board. We've got Christian Walton playing in the bags for them. Leif Davis at left back. You're going to see Luke Wolfenden centre back with Jacob Greaves. They actually play the other way around, actually. Like that. And then right back, we've got Axel Tuanzebe. In front of them, you've got Sam Morsi, who will be constantly sat as a barricade to their back 4, protecting what he can. and Massimo Luongo in defensive midfield alongside him. So it's going to be a tight, narrow defensive shape, I imagine, from Ipswich when they haven't got the ball. Wes Burns, is of course injured, so I would imagine we'll see Ben Johnson, if I can find him, there he is, probably playing on the right, but it would be a good player to have with someone who's got defensive know-how. Probably see him drop back a little bit. On the left-hand side, you're going to see Amari Hutchinson. Again, if I can find him, there he is. Former Arsenal and Chelsea player, so he's gone through the youth ranks of Chelsea and Arsenal. A very good, talented player. Sticking as a number 10, Charlie Chaplin. Actually, Connor Chaplin, but still, you got to call him with a second name like that, and the first name being C. Charlie Chaplin in attacking midfield, and returning to his former club, having scored a goal at the Etihad once upon a time, former City player, a promising player as well, Liam Delap, a big brute of a centre-forward. Not quite to the levels of Erling Haaland, but similar sort of approach to the game. A very good player, very promising. Expect the press from Ipswich. I think you're going to expect wingers pressing against Gvardiol or Rico or Akanji, whoever's got the ball at the back, and locking Manchester City into a corner as best as they can. So expect aggressive switch play from Manchester City. I expect that ball to be flying quickly across the pitch for Manchester City to switch the play and stretch Ipswich as quick as possible, because when they press hard and aggressive and keep you and trying to pin you into those corners really, really aggressively, with players pushing over to one side quickly to get around that, switch the play as quick as you can, and I imagine City should quite comfortably win this game. I'm going to go 4-0. There will be a watch long, of course, so come and join me for that tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to schedule that as soon as I can to let you guys know that I am doing a watch long, so come and join me for that one. I'm going 4-0. Get your predictions in the comment sections below, Blues. Like and subscribe to Typical City, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now.